Good morning. It's a little bit after 10 UTC, just going through Bitcoin and a couple of different metrics overall. I think for right now, the only thing we have to really look for is the open. Stocks are trading a little bit pre-market low from the close yesterday. The big thing here that we want to look at is initial jobless claims. I'm definitely going to set a tone for the market open, which has been expectedly bearish for the first 3 days of the week. So watch that intently for a potential signal for either increased volatility and downside, depending on how bullish or bearish the numbers actually come in. I'm still myself really focused on Friday. That's going to potentially give us some type of a turnaround based off the data. We'll see a lot of the geopolitical stuff and tensions are still the biggest drivers, plus quite a bit of fear going into a pretty volatile election in the U.S. So that's the big stuff on the economic calendar. Looking over at the long short on Binance, uh, coming back in pretty hot long. There was a little period we had a little bit of a pop up. Retail was trying to short a little bit to get lower. We're now making effectively a low test at 61.1K. We'll see if that can carry us if there's some continuation. Longs are stepping in, but again, it's about almost, it's getting closer to 2 to 1 long to short right now, so not overly good for the market if you want some upside progression. So still looking downside, but there's some gains like 61.8K that are pretty significant for a potential turnaround. With the funding rates as well, overwhelmingly bearish. Positive funding rates. BitMEX, the one we always look at, definitely in the positive position. Bybit, everything across the board is looking positive, so not the best for a liquidity provider, market maker driven upside move. On the liquidity topic or liquidation topic, we did do the big one. This is why we're going flat. We're allowing now the local liquidity to build. There's some chunks building below us. I would expect now losing that low at 60.1K. If we do start failing that, I would expect us to then start sweeping into 58, and there is enough liquidity there. The question is if this gap is enough to bounce us. I think there is. If we have the continuation, it's going to be a massive down candle, but I would say that if there's any failure, any continuation here, you're looking to break out, short it to 58K for continuation. To the upside, like I said, if we start getting above 61.8K, that's where we had the big rejection. It looked good for a little bit and then sort of failing back lower. That's the gain that takes us up to, yeah, 60, mid 63, potentially even back up towards 65 if we can start clearing some of these liquidity gaps. Gaining 64 is such a big deal, especially higher time frame. So that's the local stuff. Again, we're running flat until we actually have a clear continuation down, or if there's a reversal. And like I said, we want to see higher highs put in. There is from the low we did, now we're doing a potential higher low. And if we get above even the local structure here at 61.4, there is that argument that we could just squeeze right through this high. So keep an eye on that. Again, expecting some market movement an hour before the New York opens, and then a pretty volatile open as the New York, the indices are trading down in the beginning. Looking over at trading light. So first off, across the board, wanted to look at some resting orders. Not a whole lot coming into place right now. It's pretty tame in general. There's quite a bit sitting below us. Not a whole lot, basically giving us some fuel for some upside drive. We're quite a bit of ways from everything. Watch for some step-ins get leading up to the open. Generally speaking, if we start seeing lots of orders building right into that open, we might see some continuation to the downside. So watch it if there's new things coming in within the next 2 or 3 hours in the order book to potentially be a driver. But we're running pretty flat here across the board. Speaking of orders, we'll look at the market orders right now. The big thing here, yes, there's a lot of shorts that we're trying to shorten in this low. A lot of these guys are out of position right now, pretty significantly. So there's the argument that we've taken quite a bit of downside pain punishment for the shorts. A lot of the longs that are really local, they've been taken out, like the 100Xs and stuff. 50Xs and above are still in place, but like I said, 61.8K, I mean, it's a very clear level. We want to see gains above this to have some type of continuation. There is enough short liquidity here to go back higher. And given what we saw from yesterday, we actually have a pretty decent move here that took out all of the 100X and 50X leverage longs, the bigger stack that we were looking at from yesterday. So there's a little bit local liquidity enough that we can have some aggression move the upside. Again, conditionally, we need to gain levels. Finally, looking over at the general plan for trading view, no major changes outside of some more local levels since prices starting to slow down a little bit from yesterday. The big thing here, 60, that should say 60.1. Let me fix that. There you go. 60.1K, that's the local low that needs to hold. Otherwise, there's a likely chance that we're going to just sweep that through to into 59K and potentially continuation down lower towards 58K. There's definitely enough liquidity there, but it is higher time frame levels. There are some monthly levels, so we could, I doubt we'll do it in one move. Probably something similar to this, where we come down, hit a major level, and then have a local retest failure for continuation if that's the case. It's looking pretty oversold on higher time frames, especially since the nuke down's been painful. I wouldn't be opposed to, like I said, that kind of pop move. That is very possible. Also, the other one is if we actually just break this local high and then have a kind of squeeze into the upside move, that's also a possibility. So keep an eye on that as we get closer towards 61.5K, and then obviously if we flip 61.8. So key levels, big ones to look at, 64.6K. This is the local failure, right? This is the local failure that broke us down. We need to flip that to regain, high time frame priority. Looking at 63.3, that's the Q4. That's where we could potentially see some initial rejection potentially. So keep an eye on that as well. If we have this regain of level, this is a potential short. That's a potential short. If price goes above and actually starts, accumulating, yeah, there's probably going to still be a short down to retest the low structure. Again, watch for the change of structure, change of character, or break of whatever you want to call it. That's the big thing to kind of keep an eye on. Everyone's trying to long this local low. There's not a whole lot there. It's very little changes and based off of volume, based off of open interest. So not super significant. If we do start seeing a regain, we could definitely start seeing a continuation move up, in which case we would likely then start to see retail trying to short it to go lower. Be cautious if massive amounts of shorts come into these levels. So locally, the big thing, you're trapped in this range right now. 61.8K is the local level to gain above. To below us, 60.1. Any new lows under this low that we just did in the previous hour, likely to see some downside continuation in this overall drive lower. So keep an eye on that. I would say set an alert at 61.8 and set an alert at 60.1. Whatever gets tagged first, watch for that reaction, watch for the price movement. And until otherwise, we are having some priority down sideways as long liquidity is building. Retest hires are likely short opportunities until 63.3 is regained on a higher time frame, like the daily. That's going to be the key here. Look at the higher time frame charts. That's going to tell you best direction for now. So that's that. Take it easy and catch you tomorrow.